everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, and you are watching the CD Junkie. On this episode of the CD Junkie, I'm going to be talking about an iconic, a legendary punk band by the name of 999. Now, this is a band that was around during the initial punk movement, back with The Clash and Sex Pistols and The Damned and all these bands. But somehow, 999 always gets overlooked. 999, Sham 69. There's these bands that were around, that popped their heads up in 77 to 79 to 80, somewhere around there. And they just don't get the accolades these days because most people sort of focus on the bigger bands. But 999 were such a great band. I mean, heck, even the Stranglers don't get the love that they deserve these days. But let's talk about 999. There was Nick Cash on guitar and vocals, Guy Days on guitar and vocals, John Watson on bass, and Pablo LeBreton on drums. This band, this lineup actually was together for quite a while. They put out a few singles, and then in early 78, they released their self-titled release, and this was powerful. Now, to me, I could be absolutely wrong here. To me, they kind of came off like the Stranglers in a sense, kind of a heavier pub rock band that sort of veered towards the punk side. But the songs were 60s influenced, but there was energy and just this great sonic blast. And that was such a great debut album. And that was followed later that same year, the end of the year, by an album called Separates. And that contains the song Homicide, which is really kind of what they're best known for, I guess, these days. But just, again, jam-packed with some great punk energy, great songwriting, and Nick Cash and Guy Days trading off vocals. There was a domestic album, I believe it was on Passport, or it was through Gem, called High Energy Plan, and that was kind of a best of these two albums. That was an American release. These first two that I'm talking about were, the UK, Europe, etc. And it just so great. So that High Energy Plan that came out in the US was kind of a greatest hits. And then those albums were recorded for the United Artists label, and there have been a few compilations that have compiled a lot of those tracks from that period, one of which I'm showing right now. Then they moved over, I believe, to Polydor, and they released an album called The Biggest Prize in Sport. This is one of my favorite 999 albums. They sort of toned down the punk a little bit and concentrated on the melodic hooks of the songs. It's early 1980 when this album came out, and lots of great songs. I'm surprised that this isn't in everybody's collection. Now, after that, they released a mini album, I guess a live mini album, called The Biggest Tour in Sport, where it featured them touring to promote The Biggest Prize in Sport, and it had a couple songs from that album and a couple songs from the previous albums, of course, live versions. Then the following year, 1981, they put out an album called Concrete. This is tied with The Biggest Prize in Sport as my favorite 999 album, full of great punk energy, great songs. Again, one of these bands that I'm just so surprised that these songs don't end up on everybody's playlist. Just a bunch of great songs on this album. This was a little heavier than Biggest Prize in Sport, but still filled with great hooky songs. You're hearing punk, pop, blues, all this stuff all mixed up, and it's very heavy garage influence as well. And then there was a little break for 2 years, and then the band came out with 13th Floor Madness. This was an attempt to move away from punk. See, because by this time, the bands that were selling, let's say, for example, The Clash or somebody like that, they had sort of moved away from the punk roots, and they were still energetic and snotty, but their music was not as heavy and not as punk, but it was still showcasing the same 60s influences. 13th Floor Madness was, it's hard to describe. It's I really like the songs, but the production is very, very flat. But I'm very, very glad that I own it because, there are some songs on there that I do take away and put on compilations and things like this. And of course, back in the day when I would make my mixtapes, I would take songs from this album. Not as many from this album as, the previous albums. And then Face to Face came out, and that was 85. And again, this is them. I think in a sense it's a better album than 13th Floor Madness, but the production was not very good. The production was very weak. I think by this time they were on an independent label. I actually own 2 copies of this CD, neither of which contain the actual original album cover that the vinyl came out on. I have one that's Japanese, and it's under the Face to Face album title. And then I have a version of it called Dancing in the Wrong Shoes, which has all those songs off the original album, and they add a couple live tracks. Now, this is mastered from vinyl. Sometimes it's very easy to tell, but it's great because I get some great 999 songs that were on this album. Now, this is the point when John Watson left the band. He's the bass player. He was the guy, when you saw a 999 album cover, to me, he kind of had that Charlie Watts chiseled in stone look to him. He was definitely very recognizable. So when you saw a 999 album cover, he may not have been the singer, he may not have been the songwriter, but you recognized John Watson every single time. John Watson left the band and they soldiered on. They brought in a new bass player eventually by the name of Arturo Basic, who used to be in the Lurkers. And in fact, he's currently the leader of the Lurkers now, or if they're still around. And Face to Face, since it came out in 1985, it was like another, 8 years before they put out their next album called You, Us, It. And this was, boom, back to full, in-your-face, powerful, great 999. It was strong. It was robust. Now, sure, you had Arturo Basic playing bass, but you still had Guy Day's Nick Cash and Pablo LeBreton in the band, and just a great, wonderful album, great return to form. The next album was called Takeover. I think the songs are just as good as the songs on You, Us, It, but I think the production is, could have been stronger, but it's a great album. It is. Bunch of great songs. It's one of my favorite 999 albums, as a whole. Now, it took another 9 years, which is 2007, for Death in Soho to come out. And that's another great return to form. I wish that Takeover had, this kind of production quality. Now, if you notice, there are a lot of 999 albums out, and there's a lot of demo albums out and compilations and things like that. I'm just focusing on the studio album. So their next album, called Bish Bash Bosh, didn't come out until 2020. And by this time, Pablo LeBreton, the longtime drummer since the very beginning, he had to retire for health reasons. So they brought in Stuart Meadows to play drums. And this is just another great wham bam, thank you ma'am, stunner of a great 999 album. Here in 2025, that is the last studio album. There's plenty of compilations to get. There are some great box sets out there. There's a box set that has the first 77 to 80 or something in it, which I wasn't able to find before making this video. Then there's another one that contains a live album, I think Lust, Greed, Glory or something, and then the US It, Takeover, and Death in Soho, and that's another great set. There's also a 2 CD set, contains the first 2 albums on. There's also, those. And the first 2 albums, they've been repackaged, many times. There's one from 20 years ago that featured both albums on one disc, but there's a better one on the Captain Oi Cherry Red label that features each album on its own separate disc, but it's a 2 CD set with a bunch of bonus tracks. There's also a great compilation, a 2 CD compilation that covers their entire career, 1977 to 2020. They're definitely a great band. If you miss them, if you are into the Pistols and the Clash and Buzzcocks and Undertones, they sound nothing like that, but they're from that school of punk rock that still excites me because it's melodic, it's energetic, and it's raw. and but great songwriting. I have put together a medley featuring just snippets of a few songs from each album, so you can get an idea of what 999 sounds like, or you can be reminded about the greatness of 999. So sit back, relax, give this a listen, and I will see you on the other side.
What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell you gonna do? You gonna do? Shit, destination. Impact imminent, no evasion. Shit, destination. Impact imminent, no evasion. Impact imminent, no evasion. Things are back in full attack. Never give in until they crack. Emergency. You better believe it. That's the truth of it. Take it or leave it. Resign to it. Homicide. Energy blast. Energy blast. Energy blast. Let's face it. Let's face it now. Let's face it. Let's face it now. Let's face it. Let's face it now. Let's face it. The boy can't make it with girls. Let's face it. The boy can't make it with girls. Just so inside out, inside out, inside out, inside out, inside out, inside out, inside out. Here we are on Sunset Strip. Here we are at Ben Franks. Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. And don't look back. What's done is done. Ain't fun thing. You've gotta live before you burn. Cut loose, run wild, you little wild thing. Cut loose, so read it. So read it. One sip's not enough. You're never satisfied till you drunk the bottle. Doesn't really matter if you don't wanna stay. We'll do very nicely without a more pain. Oh yeah. Have mercy, mercy on me. Have mercy, mercy on me. Never occurred to us that we were harming anyone. Went to a fortune teller and had my fortune read. I didn't know what to tell her. I had a dizzy feeling in my head. And then she took a look at my palm. She said, "Sonny, you feel kinda wrong." She looked into really like me too. I really, 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 really like you, and I know that you like me too. So what can we do? What can we do? I really, 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 really like you, like me too. Oh yeah, oh no, oh no, oh yeah. I'm only gonna got a little crush on you. Oh yeah, oh no, oh no, oh yeah. I'm only gonna got a little crush on you. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Well, I done. My last breath will find its way to you. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Sitting on a time bomb, and so are you. Sitting on a time bomb, and so are you. Sitting on a time bomb, and so are you. Sitting on a time bomb, and so are you.
That's it. I hope that you enjoyed the stroll down 999 lane. And I hope this inspires you to check out the band, whether you're going online and you're going to order something, a compilation or, a box set, or whether you're going to go into a record store and pull out a used vinyl. I'm a CD junkie, so I'm always going to recommend to buy the CDs. But, CDs are back in style, as they say. Who knows? Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.